You are not obliged to celebrate. There is no rule that says you should. You are not a peasant, and no one should tell you when to have fun or relax. It's that time of the year. It's that time when it's either your birthday or some other official holiday. And if you are really unlucky, both at the same time. You see, I have always had an issue with the official holidays. I have always felt as if they are a distraction from the life I want to live. When I was younger, I wrote an essay on my Facebook wall titled "What is Christmas, my dear friends?", where I kind of dismantled the whole holiday. I have never gotten so much hate under one post in my whole life. So perhaps I will get a lot of hate for this video as well, but I will say what I have to say anyways. I'm also one of these weird people that don't celebrate their birthdays, and there is a reason behind that. I'm making this video for those of you that feel like I do, but don't know if you're crazy weirdos. Because let me tell you, you're not. The problem is that when times like these come, people around you start expecting you to feel a certain way. Why? Because a government bureaucrat told you so? Because it is marked on a calendar? Because the Earth has made exactly 27 circles around the sun since you were born? And if you don't feel that way, then you begin to get showered with guilt and shame for not being festive enough or cheerful enough. But what if you got the permission to not need to? What if there is something going on that bothers you? Or a project you are working on that is taking up your whole time, energy, and attention, and you don't want to distract yourself? Should you change your frame of mind simply because a certain calendar date has come and because other people expect you to? I say, no, you should not. You should not rest because it is Saturday or because it is Christmas. You should not throw a party because it is your birthday. It is your life, you make the rules. You make the rules for when to feel cheerful and when to feel sad, when to feel focused and dark, and when to relax. Perhaps you want to celebrate because after 2 years of work, you finally made the business you are working on turn a profit. And now you want to celebrate for a whole day or a week because now you have a reason. Now you can calmly relax and watch that TV show with your family because you feel like you deserve it. Because you have been busting your ass for months or even years, and now you have achieved a major milestone in your life. And for that, you want to reward yourself. Perhaps you finally managed to lose enough weight to get that six-pack that has been your goal since high school. Congratulations! Now you can throw a party and celebrate the occasion. But having someone impose on you a certain mood or a day off when you feel like the opposite sounds like a nightmare to me. I call this the peasant mindset. And here is where I piss a lot of people off. The peasant mindset is a mindset where you wait for someone else to dictate your mood or your daily behavior. Why peasant? Because in medieval times, the peasants were the underclass of people working in the land that was owned by the aristocracy, also known as the feudal lords. The lords owned the land and the armies and basically everything of value that mattered. And the peasants were the people allowed to live on the lands of the lords, who were basically half property of the aristocracy. Now, I'm grossly oversimplifying this because there were also different classes of peasants, but this is not a history lesson. These people were expected to work the lands of the lords. They suffered the worst during wars and plagues and were thrown into the meat grinder in the wars of conquests of the kings. They basically had no agency over their lives. Their entire existence was predicated on the goodwill, or lack thereof, of the lords and kings. So what does that have to do with celebrating holidays, you might ask? Well, the life I just described is really a sad existence. Imagine working from dusk till dawn, not owning the fruits of your labor entirely, not having strong property rights, not owning even the plot of land where your house stands. And from time to time, randomly, a lord comes down with his knights from the castle, shoves a spear in your hands, and tells you, "You, come with me." And off you go to fight a war against people who haven't done anything wrong to you for a cause that you do not understand. In such circumstances, what are one of the few things that can keep your mind off the sad reality of your existence? Well, holidays. However shitty your life is, you always know that you can get drunk on your birthday, or that you have the day off because it is Christmas or Easter. This is where I make the analogy with modern-day peasantry. You see, I personally have always found it extremely offensive to wait for Friday so that I can finally rest, or to wait for Christmas to have more time with my family, or to ask a boss for a time off. This is exactly the scenario in which I am letting external forces dictate my behavior, my habits, and even my mood. Doesn't that offend people? I'm not really sure how it cannot. If it doesn't offend you, then you either have to start thinking deeper about it, or we are living in entirely different universes. So, what to me is modern day peasantry? A lot of people seem to think it is people who work in agriculture or live in villages, etc. In fact, it has nothing to do with that. We might even argue that nowadays these people are even more free than the people I am currently describing. People think that class is a thing of the past and can only be found in history books, but it is right here, right now among us. Modern day peasants, in my opinion, are the following types of people. 1. They wait for other people's permission to rest or have a holiday. 2. They live in cramped, shitty apartments that are owned by landlords or by banks through mortgages. 3. They wear masks when they are told to by their bosses, and they can't go to a gym without a certificate, if you know what I mean. 4. They trade time for money, and they don't own any assets, which means that every aspect of their life is controlled by people who actually own the assets. And here, I can feel the hatred and anger in some of you rising. That's actually good. Anger is good. Anger is an agent for change. Anger is a marker for things not being right. It is the supreme emotional test showing you the truth, not as you wish it, but as it is. You might be screaming at the screen right now, oh, but I am a programmer, I'm not a peasant. Or, oh, but I'm high-level accountant, I'm not a peasant. Yes, you are. You are typing stuff on a computer that is not yours, in a software that you don't own, hosted on servers you don't own. That typing is creating a product or a service that you will never own, which will serve businesses and clients with which you don't have any relationship and don't even know you exist. And when it is over and 5 p.m. comes, you get into a car that is owned by your lenders, and you go to sleep in an apartment deep in the urban jungle that is owned by the bank. Yes, my friend. This is what modern day feudalism looks like. But the system has created this vast illusion that you are somehow the cream of the crop of society. They have come up with this glamorous term called the middle class. And that illusion has been keeping people from rebelling and demanding more from their lives. And so from the point of view of your masters, which own the corporation you work in, your servers, your relationship with the clients, and your apartment, it is working remarkably well. And one of the ways it is working remarkably well is the fact that you are focusing all that time and attention on planning your next birthday or decorating your Christmas tree instead of thinking how to get the hell out of this situation you are in. Or at least regain some small part of agency back for yourself. You see, I personally don't want to work until I die or until the government tells me to stop and pays me whatever little money is left in the state's treasury. I do not want to live in an apartment owned by the bank. I do not want to have zero assets that pay for my life and have my boss ruling over me. And I definitely don't want to have to wait for some government-mandated holiday so I can take my family on some trip. Now, I don't want to sound like a hater that says that if you're watching a movie with your mom on Christmas or you are having fun at your birthday, you are a loser or a peasant. If you have your life in order, if you are living the way you want to, and if you're simply using these occasions to coordinate better with other people, to do things you love, the more power to you. Go do it. In this video, I'm speaking more to the people who are one of two types. The first type is using holidays imposed by the government and their birthdays as an escape from their lives. And the second types are people who feel pressure to conform to the expectations of society and their relatives and friends. To the first type, I told you already, this is what modern day peasantry looks like. It's bread and circuses. The people who control your lives throw you some crumbs, enough for you to not lose your mind and get angry enough to start searching for a better life. You need to stop using these escape mechanisms and start getting more control over your life. Start this business you always wanted to. Change your job if you don't like the way you're being treated. Start acquiring assets that pay at least partially for your life so that you can gain at least a little bit of economic independence. These are all little steps you can take right now to change your life, to start getting out of what I deem the modern day peasantry. And stop waiting for Friday or for the next holiday to come. To the second type of people, it's okay not to celebrate your birthday. On my last birthday, I did a 12-hour grueling hike with my phone in airplane mode. No one could reach me. There wasn't a party. It was just me, the mountains, and my thoughts. I barely made it back home, but that's a different story. People were telling me I'm weird. They were asking me why I'm doing it. And you know what? I don't even bother explaining myself anymore. I just go do it. And you should too. Perhaps you want to spend New Year's Eve or Christmas working. Perhaps you want to spend your birthday working out for your next marathon run. That's totally okay. Your mom might get upset. Your best high school buddy might make fun of you. So, you will carry the consequences of the decisions you make in your life. So why give power to anyone else to control what those decisions are when they won't be facing the consequences? With all that said, again, stop being a peasant and stop letting other people control your life. If your life is going the way you want it to, then celebrate. If it isn't, remove those occasions from your mental calendar. Remove the opportunity to relax and forget. This will force you to face the sadness of your reality. And then you might get angry. And then you will take action. And that's how you get out of it. Happy holidays and happy birthday.